The more that I dig deeper into the Bible to provide you these commentaries, the more that it becomes, the more that I realize how much that I missed in earlier readings of the Bible. But that's what happens when you're trying to be a teacher rather than just learn it for your own sake. But I'm telling you that it would take a book the size of War and Peace to even begin to dig into and comment on all that goes down in these 3 short chapters. There also are numerous people who display loyalty and faith and others' treachery and deception amidst all the drama that goes on there. And the absolute genius, obviously, of the Word of God is that they'll just be a very short paragraph or just a very, which you can dig into and just find so much. And let's try and tell the story a little bit. King David's son Absalom stages a coup, forcing David to flee with a small band of loyal followers. David experiences deep humiliation and even cursing by a man named Shimei. David shows great restraint, tolerance, and understanding towards that man for sincere reasons, but also in hopes that it would restore him to God's favor, as he was feeling cursed at the time of the coup staged by his own son Absalom. David was not completely cursed, however, because the grandson of Saul brought out to him and his men essentially a truckload of fig Newtons, wine for refreshment, and donkeys to ride on when they would return to Jerusalem. So despite the hardships and hard times, David demonstrates faith in God's judgment. One advisor, Hushai, I think I said that right, remains loyal and stalls Absalom with a cunning plan which is far too complicated to get into here. Enough to say that deception is an essential part of warfare, and the first casualty of war is often truth. And the plan worked, because David's forces, although outnumbered, defeat Absalom's army in battle. However, Absalom dies tragically entangled in a tree. So that's the essential story. Here are some lessons learned and some takeaways. The corrupting influence of power. Absalom's ambition leads to rebellion and destruction. The enduring impact of choices. David's past mistakes contribute to the situation. Importance of loyalty. David is surrounded by both betrayal and unwavering support. Finding faith in hard times. David trusts in God despite his suffering. The possibility of forgiveness. David's grief suggests forgiveness even for Absalom's treachery. It's a very passionate story, but you have to really want to dig into it, and I hope that by providing this little brief summary, it will invite you to do so. 2 Samuel 16 through 18. Here's a brief presentation.
In 2 Samuel 16 to 18, we witness the tragic events that unfold as King David's son Absalom rebels against him and attempts to take the throne. Absalom's rebellion is fueled by his desire for power and his resentment towards his father for not punishing his brother Amnon for raping his sister Tamar. Absalom wins the support of the people, and David is forced to flee Jerusalem to avoid a bloody confrontation. During his exile, David faces betrayal and hardship. He is cursed and pelted with stones by Shimei, a member of Saul's family who blames David for Saul's downfall. David's trusted advisor Ahithophel also turns against him and joins Absalom's side. Despite these challenges, David remains faithful to God and trusts in his plan. As the conflict escalates, Absalom's forces are defeated by David's army in the Battle of the Forest of Ephraim. Absalom is caught in a tree by his hair and killed by Joab, David's commander, against David's wishes. David is devastated by the loss of his son, mourning his death despite his betrayal. The story of Absalom's rebellion teaches us valuable lessons about the consequences of pride, jealousy, and disobedience. Absalom's thirst for power and his lack of respect for authority lead to his downfall. His rebellion against his father serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of seeking power at the expense of others. In the Gospel, we can see parallels between Absalom's rebellion and the betrayal of Jesus by Judas Iscariot. Both Absalom and Judas were close to their respective leaders, but chose to betray them for personal gain. However, while Absalom met a tragic end, Jesus' sacrifice on the cross brought redemption and salvation to all who believe in him. Ultimately, the story of Absalom's rebellion reminds us of the importance of humility, forgiveness, and faithfulness. David's unwavering trust in God and his willingness to forgive those who wronged him serve as a powerful example for us to follow. Just as David remained faithful to God in the face of adversity, we too must trust in his plan and seek his guidance in all aspects